Well, next we're going to look at the man who could well be Nigel Benn's next opponent. That is Thomas Hearns. Rejoin us in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to Atlantic City. Nigel Benn has just won the world middleweight title here, and we'll show you the climax of the fight once again before the end of the programme. But now we've got more world title action featuring Thomas Hearns defending his WBO super middleweight title against Michael Olajide. The fight took place in Donald Trump's exotic Taj Mahal casino, a little bit down the boardwalk from here, and we're going to pick up the action in the 4th round.
Well, now, let's see what sort of tactics are going to take place here. How long Olajide is prepared to back off like this. Obviously, 2 orders in round 4. The opening of the Taj Mahal, Trump's Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, this one. Sort of a monument to gaudiness, really, but it's someplace. Well, that's not like Hearns, really, Jim, isn't it? If Olajide thinks he's frustrating Hearns, I've got a feeling Hearns is also now going to frustrate Olajide.
Well, Hearns is probably quite happy the way things are going. I mean, he's dominating the action. He's not landing clean punches, but he hasn't become erratic. He's been told by his own corner not to throw big swings because he's going to end up looking bad. He was told that at the end of the 2nd round, so he's still very patient, and he obviously feels things are going his way.
Quite right, some derisive whistling and booing going on. So, hit me if you can, Hearns is saying. Well, Olajide was certainly talking a good fight beforehand, Jim, but he's doing nothing now.
Yeah, I think we have to remember, though, his corner are happy with what he's doing. His corner have told him to continue doing it. So maybe Olajide has other things in his mind, but he's doing what he's told. I don't know, maybe if they're thinking Hearns been past his best, is going to run out of steam. But to make an older fighter run out of steam, you've got to put him under pressure. That was really a low punch there, Reg.
Oh, yes. Well south of the border, that one. Take time off, says the referee. The no foul rule is usually obviously in existence. So take out 1 point from Olajide. Now, Jim, that really does put him way behind already by the 4th round. They've already deducted a point.
But the problem, Reg, that was a vicious punch. I don't think Hearns is bothered too much about that point. He doesn't need it. He's well in front at the moment. But that was a vicious punch, Reg. That really was a hard punch. That's taken a lot out of Tommy Hearns.
Even wearing a foul-proof protector, Jim, I mean, it can shift it, can it, obviously?
I mean, Hearns is not the type of man to play act. That must have taken a little bit out of him. Hearns will have pains in his stomach at this point, Reg.
The referee, of course, took time out during that recovery by Hearns.
Put punches up, Michael, okay? Pick him up. No warning! No warning! No warning!
Angelo shouting something at the referee there. Could you pick that up, Jim?
Yeah, I think he's shouting no warning. I think he feels Olajide was hit after the bell and he wants Hearns to be warned about it. But no, I think it was right on the bell.
Put the pace on him a little bit more.
Well, that's the corner then for Hearns, saying give us some right hands. The left hooks are not really working. And in Olajide's corner, they're saying, OK, let's go, as if he's suddenly going to change gear. And he's so far behind Jim, he'll need to be in overdrive.
Yeah, well, whatever the tactics have been, they don't seem to be looking for a points victory with what he's doing, because half the fight's gone already and he hasn't really even started yet.
Saving the right-hand punch, Jim Hearns, isn't he, despite the plea from Emmanuel Stewart in the corner there.
Well, Hearns has started circling. I don't think that's what Stewart had in mind in the corner. But that one wasn't really low. That was just kind of maybe on the borderline, I felt that one was. But I don't think Stewart will be too pleased the way Hearns is beginning to back off here. I think he meant him to keep what he was doing, but just throw more right hands.
Keep him up.
Oh, well, he's putting on a show there. Hearns got caught with the first really decent punch that Olajide's led with there, and
well, at least Olajide is looking a bit more positive in this round. He's still good tight defence, hands in front of his chin, but at least he's trying to maybe do some work now. High time.
I think it's wishful thinking too that Hearns is going to come apart at the seams. As you say, Jim, he's got to be pressured and caught on the chin by good punches to begin to slow down.
Yeah, but if you want to make an older man run out of steam, you got to be the one exerting the pressure, and that's never been the case. It's always been Hearns dictating the pace and the pressure.
Round 8 then. And no knockdown so far, in case you've just joined us late in this WBO Super Middleweight Championship. Tommy Hearns and Michael Olajide, the Liverpudlian from Vancouver and New York. So the plead by Dundee for Olajide, speed. But it's a case of the old ring general so far, Jim, isn't it, with Hearns. He's really done exactly what he's liked. He's almost tried to treat it like an exhibition.
Yeah, well, he's just dominated the proceedings. He hasn't really been able to nail Olajide with very many decent punches, but he's controlled everything else, kept him on the defensive, although I think Olajide's volunteered to go on the defensive, but no pressure coming his way. He's just boxed at his own pace.
It's a great left jab, Jim. It's not just a point scorer, isn't it? It's punishing.
Yeah, it's a good solid jab. But the thing I'm sure Hearns should have learned by now, well, when a fellow is just intent on survival, there's not a lot of good sending single shots out. You've got to put punches together, 3 and 4. But maybe being that he's maybe getting a little bit on in years, maybe saving that for the last third of the fight. But a single shots against this man, you're really wasting your time.
Long right hand there. Just must have run out a bit of steam at the end of it, but he's moving in closer with it now. And following the manager's orders of use the right hand a bit more often, but he's softening him up with the left first.
That was almost a punch that Hearns was looking for there. He just seemed to catch Olajide in the chest, but it's so close to the chin it was. Good left hook.
He gets his head inside some of those punches, Olajide. Give him credit for that. He caught him on the shoulder with the right hand a couple of times there.
Pretty much the same. A few more punches coming from the challenger, but still we could not call what he's doing offensive, could we?
No, he tried to stand and trade for a few seconds anyway, Olajide there, but he was getting out-punched. Ninth round then. And Hearns, Jim, obviously won every round and won by 2 points for the low punch. And he's done that before when he's been knocked down Olajide with frustration. He bangs his fist on the canvas.
Well, it just shows the power Hearns has, because he seemed to be leaning away as he threw that punch, but he still had the power to do that to an opponent.
He's going to rain a lot of punches in here, and I wouldn't have thought Olajide can get over this one. He's trying to cover up, so he knows what he's doing, Olajide. And he's not always been able to catch him cleanly, Hearns, but it's only a question of how long. It's so early in the round.
Well, Hearns can afford to take chances. He's been caught before, while so much on top of an opponent, but I don't think Olajide has the power to trouble him. And his legs still seem a little bit unsteady.
It's a sign of an old pro, isn't it? Calculated stuff now. He's thrown a few punches. He doesn't want to punch himself out, Hearns. He's just trying to take his time to pick the winner.
Well, he's not landing in target, so he's just dropped the pace back down there, looking to place his shots more carefully. Well, the fight badly needed some excitement, Reg, and that straight right hand has given us that excitement.
And they're propped up right against the ropes here, Olajide, directly above the commentary position here. Well, he's done well, I've got to say that. I didn't think he'd get over that barrage of punches that were coming in. It was a bit of a landslide of punches. And that's what Angelo Dundee's been asking him to do, fire punches back when he thinks Hearns is getting tired.
Well, this is actually the time to do that, Reg, because Hearns has used up a lot of steam with the pressure he really put out after the knockdown. So now is the time for Olajide to throw something and see if he can capitalise on that.
The crowd absolutely taken back by that, calling ooh when Olajide's throwing punches. What an incredible turnaround this could be. Olajide under ridiculous fire, and then towards the end of the round now, we get the countdown there, he's the one that's firing back. Good game we got, isn't he, Olajide? Well there. And after the bell, the referee did well to get in there. And the first real excitement, we've had to wait all this time for it. And now what is going to happen in the remainder of the fight? That's the thing now. But Jim, it's possible that Dundee's tactics might have worked the way he came back. They were very risky. What a shot that was, wasn't it? Perfect.
Yeah, Hearns seemed to be leaning away as he let the punch go. He seemed to lean down and over it came. Beautiful shot. Look at his legs.
And there it is again when he was firing back at Olajide. That was a big surprise. Now the crowd have turned to the underdog there. And between rounds, Sugar Ray Leonard was actually standing up looking over at Hearns' corner. He was as shocked as Hearns was, I think, that Olajide had come back. So we're in the 10th. A mile behind on points, Olajide. And can he find the punch to make a mockery of all that points lead?
Well, right from the off, his tactics seem to suggest that he planned his success late in the fight. Well, now we're late in the fight. We'll see if it's going to work. I like to see Hearns' defence just a little bit tighter now, Reg. He's always been an exciting fellow, but he takes far too many chances. Olajide is coming forward now, so he's going to have that little bit more power on his punches.
Hearns just not been able to catch Olajide cleanly, other than that one right hand punch. Too many of them have just been slipping around the side, not that one.
See, so often in the past we've seen suddenly the strength leaves Tommy Hearns' legs. I wonder if that's going to happen in this one. See, Hearns is far too careless in defence, Reg. He always has been. He's doing it again here tonight.
Yeah, sometimes he's a bit like a sleeping cat though. When he's aroused, he strikes back. And he's obviously really got the tag hit, man.
Well, Olajide looking more like a world title contender now, Reg.
Well, that early round ball by Angelo Dundee give me patience. He kept yelling at Olajide. Might have paid off, but I think it's possible that he's left it too late. On the other hand, there's the legs have looked a bit wobbly at times with Hearns. So there's Ray Leonard applauding that round, and I would suspect that he would be rooting for Hearns. He wouldn't mind a third time up with him.
You gotta use your power, you understand?
11th round then, and quite a turnaround, being beaten out of sight early on Michael Olajide, and now at least he's come back and made it a competitive fight anyway.
The one thing Hearns needs for the rest of this fight, Reg, is a tight, sensible defence. He's taken too many chances before in some of his fights, and it's gone against him. He's going to have to tighten up for the last 2 rounds of this fight.
Yeah, cut out the showboating, as they call it here, waving the arms around. At least it looks as though he's done that. He's realised he's got to take it much more seriously anyway. I'm probably a bit disappointed that he couldn't keep Olajide down, Jim. He take him well on a few occasions there.
I think Hearns used up a little bit of steam he was maybe saving for later in the fight. He's controlled the pace all the way through, but since he had that burst in the knockdown round, he seemed to tire considerably, but he's tightened his act up a little bit in this round. He's looking a little bit more sharper again.
Yeah, it's back to the scriptures for Hearns now. Good shot, that one, Jim. Doubled that up well.
See, again, Olajide just seemed to be pulling away with the punch. Took some of the sting out. His eyes are looking still nice and clear. See, Olajide's only really taken one shot on the chin. That was a knockdown punch. Everything else has either been smothered, blocked, or taken high on his head.
It's a far more accurate round by Hearns. If only Olajide had started early, Jim, we never would know now with just one round to go then.
Yeah, well, he's certainly got himself fired up a little bit now, but he's got all to do. Quite obviously, the only thing that can get him that title is a knockout. He's going to fall out for it in the last round here.
Let's let it all hang out. Okay. Block, punch, block, punch. Give it to him. Go. Back to him up the street to shoot him.
This is the and final round or round of long from Michael Olajide and Hearns.
Final round then. And really terse orders there, wasn't it, from Angelo Dundee? Throw everything. For Olajide now, can he do it? 3 minutes to go.
Hearns looking a little bit loose again in the last round, Reg. This is a round where they should be nice and tight, good defence, just edge forward, but he's dropping his defences again. Another shot, Reg. That one shoot Olajide, his legs have gone.
Yeah, it's real artful butchery, isn't it, that comes in with Hearns. Great tradesman. It's almost saying, Jim, you've had your fling, son, and I can't allow you to have it in the last round. This is my scene.
Yeah, he's got it well in the bag, as long as he doesn't make any silly mistakes. But I don't even know if Olajide has the power to take advantage if he got the chance.
He's stopped 19 opponents of 27 Olajide, but none of them, of course, in Hearns' league. There it is, and we're nearly midway through the last. $60 seconds then. Smart stuff done by Hearns, and it's saying I'm not going to get too close to this fella, he might just get lucky.
Yeah, it's just a little bit loose for my liking, Reg. I would rather have seen him a little bit tight of doing just what he was doing for the first 9 or 10 rounds. I just don't like to see him dropping his hands. We've seen him badly wobbled in fights before. He's managed to recover in some of them, but he doesn't have a chin that I think should be exposed to anybody.
Well, in fact, Jim, actually, if somebody went down right on the bell, he would continue. It's a rule I disagree with entirely. The contest is over as far as I'm concerned. There it is inside the 10 seconds. The banging on the apron here by the timekeeper. And it's obviously Hearns by a mile. A good finish by Olajide, but he knows he's been well licked, and it's all friends at the end anyway. And yet another $1 million or so in the bank for Tommy Hearns. So let's see the size of the scores.
Atlantic City. Samuel Conte scores about 120 to 107. Cesar Ramos was at 119 to 110. And Billy Brownlee has it 119 to 107 for the winner. And
well, he managed to get one round out with that Jim on 2 cards, but the Puerto Rican judge has given every round to Tommy Hearns, 5 times world champion. You may say, well, not quite the man he was, but I tell you what, he's still good enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for the man known as the Silk Michael Olajide. Let's give him a hand.
Tommy Hearns really had to get on a bicycle to chase that guy the first 5 rounds.
I'm glad I did my world work. Because if I didn't, probably it was very difficult to catch up with him. But it was very hard.
Tommy, have you met a defensive fighter that had that kind of skill? I mean, he seemed to just have radar for your punches.
He was very defensive and very alert. It made it very difficult. At first, I found it a little difficult trying to locate with the left hand. And the left hand is my key work. And I've been basically working on the left hand, trying to get it strong so I can jab all night and set the right hand off. He made it quite difficult for me.
But you did land the right hand, and when you did, and he went down, you did something uncharacteristic of the hitman. You swarmed. You usually take your time. You're a hitman. You're ice cold. You go in there and do your work. All of a sudden,
that was a bad mistake, and I'm never make a mistake again. Even my training man told me, he said, "You lost your pause. I mean, you just lost all sight of control."
There's one thing everybody will carry away from Tommy Hearns' fights from 1980 to 1990 is your ability to finish in a cold hitman way, and that we didn't see. And I was more surprised than Emmanuel Stewart. If we can see the monitor, here's the knockdown. You can see what a perfect right hand you hit him with. Tell us about that.
I was just sitting with two light left jabs, where he could watch the left jab, and made it easy for me to sneak the right hand through. But after that, first right hand was kind of difficult to hit flush again.
Now here's the swarming we talk about.
Yeah.
Watch as most of those are bouncing off of his gloves.
Yeah, I wouldn't take my time. I wasn't setting my punches or place my punches like I usually do. I usually take my time to just place my shot, but I was just swelling away and hitting nothing.
I thought Olajide was a pretty good fight because it wasn't in that great a danger because Olajide is not a physical fighter, not a puncher. So I'll have to assess where he goes from here. I'd like to see him fight another fight soon and then take another good look at him and see where he stands at leg-wise.
Well, just watching Tommy Hearns last night, I just wonder how many more fights those long legs will carry him through.